What's going on, everyone? It's Mitch from RespectMyRegion.com here with another episode of The Morning Joint. Oops, phone. Gotta turn that off. Hope everyone had a great Easter, great weekend. Getting ready to set off this week, mid-April. Taxes are due. Hopefully, all you entrepreneurs and bookkeepers out there getting your taxes in. I know that's something I still got to finish up. Anyways, on today's episode of the Morning Joint, main thing that we want to talk about is the Media Mixtape Party Volume 1 MJ Unpacked New York City After Party, or New York City MJ Unpacked After Party is coming here in a couple weeks. On Thursday night of MJ Unpacked, whoever's going out there to New York City, you can join us at the Media Mixtape Volume 1 party. It'll be on Thursday, April 27th at Harbor NYC. Our friends at the Bluntness helped plan this location, but this party will be kind of a joint production between the Bluntness, Sensi, Fairchild, joint venture, Puff Creative, Honeysuckle, Northwest Leaf, and then us, Respect My Region. So hence the Media Mixtape Party. This is put on by a lot of media outlets in the cannabis industry. So independent media companies coming together to throw an event. In this space, a lot of times we see the media kind of do their own thing in their own medium, whether it's print or online or an event. Usually, one media company is a press partner or the person throwing an event. This is seeing a lot of the heavy hitting independent media outlets in the cannabis industry coming together to throw an event together. Again, in New York City at the Harbor. And it's a rooftop, man. This event's going to be 8 p.m. to midnight. The rooftop, I believe, retracts just like, a high scale light up cultivation facility. Or if you're familiar with Safeco Field out here in Seattle, the roof retracts. You can take the convertible off the roof. So this will be a consumption event at this beautiful rooftop bar in New York City, be amongst the skyline. It's not very far from the Hilton Midtown Manhattan where MJ Unpacked is going down. So anyone going out to MJ Unpacked, highly recommend coming to this. And if you're in the New York area and you're not going to MJ Unpacked, you can still slide by to this after party. Tickets are on sale right now. It's not that much money, but check that out. This will definitely be a fire event. I believe there's still a couple opportunities for activations to get involved. We have some sponsorships and some booths set, but there's still a couple different ones open. So if any companies out there want to get involved, please feel free to reach out. We can activate your brand. But we're not here to sell sponsorships on this podcast. We're here to promote the event. We got the article. It's in the description. Check out the image of the rooftop at the Harbor. This is definitely set to be a tight, dope event. We're going to be doing a live podcast on site. And we're super excited to get back out to New York City, man. And of course, we're going out there for MJ Unpacked. So if you are looking for, an event in the Northeast, to go network at this month, definitely check out MJ Unpacked. If it's not on your radar, we got a promo code RMR MJU150 to get $150 off your ticket to the conference. Highly recommend checking out MJ Unpacked. We're going to have a booth there, and we don't ever have booths at events, so that's definitely going to be something worth checking out, man. Next up on the news, talked about this a little bit last week, but the NBA will no longer test or penalize for cannabis use. So in 2021, I believe the NBA had suspended testing for cannabis due to COVID. So I was under the impression then that cannabis was cool in the league, but they just redid the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, and they chose to stop testing or giving fines and penalties for cannabis use in the NBA. And they're also opening up the ability for active players to invest in and thus be tied to cannabis businesses. And so if we look at, Viola, one of the biggest cannabis brands across the country, is owned by NBA player Al Harrington. I believe Seven Leaves. I think Matt Barnes, former player, somewhat involved in that. Carmelo Anthony and John Wall have invested in Company Lewin, and they're both active players. Kevin Durant and his 3-5 Ventures has invested in tech companies like Dutchy and things like that. So clearly the NBA hasn't stopped them investing in, within the industry to some extent, but I believe the CBA is going to allow them to actually be a part of, plant touching brands. And I don't know how much, we'll see active players promoting their own brand. Maybe it'll come up crazy. Maybe it'll just be, slightly tied to things. I don't think we'll see it as an endorsement level as a Nike shoe deal or something like that. But it's definitely awesome to see, especially because they estimate around 85% of NBA players consume cannabis. And for many years, they've had to consume cannabis around these rigorous testing guidelines and then put themselves up to fines or be kicked out the league. I know it's not the same sport, but we obviously, you should be aware of what happened to Ricky Williams. Man was pretty much kicked out the NFL for smoking cannabis. And when you look at a lot of these players and how they talk about, getting pain relief shots and just injecting things in their body so they can go out there and not feel things and play, and getting prescribed painkillers and things of that sort at a high nature, it's awesome to see them getting access to cannabis and having an alternative form of pain relief, mental relief. Clearly, a lot of things come with this. We've seen NBA players actually retire so they can smoke weed for their mental health. There's people that have came out and spoke about that. So now we're seeing people that are not able to have to do that. So shout out to NBA for doing that. I believe the MLB's already done it. So I don't think it's necessarily the first league, but something what I believe all these professional sports leagues will start to follow. Next up on cannabis news, man, 7 points, Bakersfield. Cannabis delivery is now carrying the RMR Legacy Small. So our line was just picked up by 7 points out in Bakersfield. Definitely check that out. I know they just picked up the Dedication OG Kush, JS11, Orange Triangle cookies. And so they've got those available for you, which is going for a great price. We got 23 accounts across the state of California. So shout out 7 points Bakersfield for picking us up. Definitely check them out for that RMR Legacy Smalls. Most of our accounts are selling really well, having a hard time keeping that Dedication OG on the shelf. So check that out. Definitely recommend it. Next up, we did a strain review on the Ballerz 29 from Lit. This was out in Massachusetts. Lit is owned by Air Wellness. The Ballerz 29 strain is Gary Payton times Project 4516. And hold on one second. I got to look up what exactly Project 4. I forgot what it is. Project 4516. Where's the genetics? Cannot remember. It is a... Oh, yeah, it's from Grandi Flora. It is Gelato 45 times Platinum Puff. So Gelato 45 times Platinum Puff is the Project 456, and you times that by Gary Payton. And honestly, I was a fan of this product, man. So for those, Lit, the Lost in Translation brand is, I've been going out to Massachusetts for a while. They're honestly... I don't know where they rank in terms of connoisseurs in that market that smoke a lot of stuff, place them in terms of the best brands in the state. But I've had some of my best flower experiences in the state of Massachusetts from the Lit brand. I know they're a big MSO brand, but honestly, a lot of the flower I've had from them is pretty solid. I've had things on the spectrum from good to great, but some of the better weed in Massachusetts just came from Lit. I did the review on this. I actually liked it. I'm a big fan of Gary Payton. It just has that like burnt rubber, like rubber cement almost smell to it. That Gary is kind of like, I don't know, something in there that I like, this funk. And so this Ballerz 29 has a good taste of that combined with some gelato, which I'm a fiend for gelato. It's popular for a reason. So anyways, this Ballerz 29 strain is pretty fire, man. We were just out there in Massachusetts for NECAN, and Lit had just put out some lemon cherry gelato. Again, some people might be over lemon cherry gelato, but it was really pretty good, solid terpy weed out there, man. So again, out of the couple times we've been to Mass, Lit has performed well. I did the review on this Ballerz 29 strain, and it got a 91 out of 100. So again, you can check out that review in the link below. Please check that out. Moving on to music news. J. Cole, during his Dreamville Festival set, petitioned Kanye West to clear some samples. And so, J. Cole is nearing the end of his career, but towards the start of his career, one of his hottest projects he put out was the Friday Night Lights mixtape, which was released online through like Dat Piff. It's a free mixtape. He was rapping over some original tracks, but a lot of industry beats, things of that nature, which were popular in the earlier 2000s. And it generated well over 1 million downloads on Dat Piff. The Dat Piff site is slowly, I'm not sure. I seen the news that they were shutting down, and then I saw the news that they were not shutting down. But any true hip hop fan that's been around for some years and was within the digital age, what Dat Piff is. It's where you get, it's where you listen to mixtapes, right? Because there was a long time when albums came out and you could only hear albums on the radio and on TV and buy albums at the store where everything was cleared, and the mixtapes where people were rapping over samples that weren't cleared, rapping over other people's beats, right? Those things weren't generally set up to be sold. So a lot of those mixtapes were only distributed via CD version or on websites like Dat Piff that would host these mixtapes. And so anyways, it's a very popular era, especially the early 2000s when mixtapes really blew up in those 2010s. And so one of J. Cole's biggest projects, Friday Night Lights, is not on Spotify, it's not on Apple, it's not on streaming because it was released in 2010 in that mixtape era at 20 tracks. And I know, one of them being the Vilmatic was right over the Kanye West Devil in a New Dress song from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Everybody did their own version of that song. That beat was absolutely nuts. And so anyways, fans have been calling to J. Cole, can we get this music on streaming, especially now with the uncertainty of Dat Piff being around? I want to make sure that I can always have this music and access to it. And basically, J. Cole let people know while performing his Vilmatic song that he's trying to put this up on streaming. Kanye, please, he reached out. He said, what did he say? He said, shout out Kanye West, please clear the sample for me, brother. I appreciate it. Apparently, people who came out and said the only thing holding up this mixtape, Cole's wanting to put it up, his people wanting to put it up. The only thing holding it back is that the sample can't get it cleared by Kanye West. So let's hope, because Kanye West is a sample clearing or sample based producer. Let's hope he can reach back out to someone else in the game and just clear that sample for him, whether Cole's got to pay for it or he just gives the thumbs up, man, so we get that Friday Night Lights on streaming. Next up, man, we did a preview for the Outside Lands Festival. Look at this lineup, man. So this will be August 11th through 13th, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. This lineup is nuts, man. Kendrick Lamar, Foo Fighters, Odessa, Lana Del Rey, Megan Thee Stallion, Zedd, Janelle Monáe, Lil Yachty, Jid, man, Toby Nagui, I can't say it, Nagigwe, I can't say it that well, but his music is fire. That song Journey, crazy. Speaking of sample-based rap. But anyways, this is a crazy lineup going across all spectrums of genres. Obviously that's a popular thing for music festivals when they touch this many genres, but this is fire. It's set to be fire. I wish that we saw some big cannabis industry sponsors of this. If we look at the main sponsors of the event, Chase Bank, Heineken, Monster, White Claw, Hazy, IPA, United Airlines, Bacardi. And it's funny to see, I got to speak about it just being in the cannabis industry. United Airlines, sponsoring this event alongside all these alcohol companies. Obviously, you can buy alcohol on United Airlines. But say we go to, say the same, from me throwing events, if I want to get an airline company to sponsor and I had a cannabis company already on as a sponsor, they wouldn't want to sponsor that event. So, man, it's always unfortunate when we see these, a bunch of alcohol industry sponsors mixed in with other sponsors. Nobody cares, but then we're not seeing the cannabis on there. But regardless, we're in California. Cannabis will definitely make its way around one way or another, and I'm sure brands will be activating on this. But anyways, great, crazy lineup, beautiful spot at Golden Gate Park, 3-day festival. And obviously, it's the conjunction of art, culture, and just, good vibes, man. So definitely check that out. Outside Lands, crazy lineup. We'll probably have a writer sent out there. Last up on the music news, Taylor Hart, our head editor, just put out her thoughts on Milc and Golden Beets Horseradish album. So Milc is a rapper from Portland. He's been putting out a lot of music. We've done a couple features on him. Golden Beets is a producer, also in Portland. And these two linked up, put together this album, Horseradish. And it's got features for some other people from around the area, like Ugly Frank. Ugly Frank is super fire. If you're not from the Pacific Northwest, you might not know who Ugly Frank is. But he was in this group, I'll Fight You. Super dope. They made some waves on the internet. People, big fans of them. And they put out great music, man. It's great music. Definitely check out Ugly Frank. And Milc will be performing at the Belltown Yacht Club on 420 at 420 event with AJ Suede, Greg Cypher, De Niro Ferrar. So definitely check that out. Also on 420, man, I know Gumbo is throwing the 420 event in New York City. Definitely check that out. And then at 421, Empire Cannabis Clubs at Terminal 5 is throwing Redman and Method Man in New York. Definitely check that out. And then in LA, Green Street, the 420 Experience. Definitely check that out. We got an article coming from that soon. We will have a presence at the 420 Experience downtown LA. So if you're in the Cali market, SoCal, definitely pull up on that on 420. It's later in the evening. So even if you're going to go to a dinner or some sessions or some other events, you can definitely end up at this 420 Experience in LA. It is going to be a pretty fire event. It's going to be located at 2-Bit Circus. So there's going to be a lot of games for adults, a lot of cannabis activations taking over downtown, the downtown LA spot. So definitely check that 420 Experience out, 420experience.com for more information. We'll have an article on that here pretty soon. Just didn't have it up in time for this. And then also lastly, the last event that we got to plug, it's not quite 420, but if you're in Florida, Orlando, Florida, Florida Groves Festival, Saturday, April 15th, Sunday, April 16th, tickets at floridagrovefest.com. Definitely check that out. They're going to have cannabis, music, art, sneakers, tattoos. It's 4 days away, man. It's coming up it's coming up this next weekend, or it's 5 days away. It's coming up this next weekend. So definitely check out that Florida Groves. If you are located in the Orlando area, you can actually get your Florida medical cannabis card at the event. Even if you don't have a cannabis card, you can still check out that event. But that is it for appreciate you saying that NBA owes former players that were penalized with cannabis prohibition an apology. Absolutely, man. They should probably cut some reparations checks for some of those people as well. Just knowing that a lot of those players were also, people of color as well. Whether it doesn't matter really what league we look at, right? Like I brought up, I don't know if you were on here, Higher Things Club. We brought up Ricky Williams as an example of people that really paid that cost in their career, and their pockets really took a toll for cannabis. And now seeing all these leagues change the tune. But we're going to continually see that across the professional spectrum as legalization sweeps the country. And what we as cannabis lovers and passionate purveyors of the plant, activists alike, have known for a long time, the world's going to slowly catch up on. And we're going to see a lot of these things that were not unfair be made fair. But, some of it we got to roll with, some of it we got to be happy with. But you're absolutely right. Some of these players that paid that cost with their pockets and their reputations, they definitely deserve an apology, man. Definitely. Miggy, what's up? Good morning. Hitting him on the early morning today for the morning joint. We'll be trying to run this around 7 a.m. on Monday, so stay tuned as we keep going. And as always, our newsletter, all these topics will be covered in our newsletter that goes out at 9 a.m. every Monday. Make sure you're subscribed to that and check out respectmyregion.com for new content updated daily. This is the morning joint. Mitch from respectmyregion.com. Check it out. We'll have more content coming across this week. Stay tuned.